everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So this video, or at least the making of it, was long overdue since I moved into my townhouse and never actually organized any of my clothes. I just threw things into whatever space they would fit in and was just too busy to really contemplate the time commitment that I made during Labor Day long weekend to really face all of it and let go of the things that don't bring me as much joy as they used to. The first step was to clear out my linen closet and give it a new life as my favorite storage area in the house now, which is where I keep all of my cashmere sweaters. So they are prized possessions for me. I did donate quite a few, but held on to most because they truly are my most worn garments. I love knitwear. I love the feel of the natural fibers against my skin, how practical and classic they are, and how easy they are to style as well. They just are my go-tos for probably almost 3/4 of the year here in the Pacific Northwest. It's really only during the summer that I don't get as much wear out of them. Decluttering is a funny mix of the emotional and also the analytic. The emotional because you're letting go of things that no longer serve you, choosing to donate or sell many of these items, and create a new future for yourself in terms of the outfits you will be wearing at least for that season. It's also analytical in that you are left with a puzzle of the things that you're going to keep and how to fit and organize them in the space that you live in. And for most of us, it doesn't really happen like on Netflix. You're not going to have a whole new closet built or even, a ton of new tools to organize those things. So I hope that this video is a bit of a real life look into how I went about it. And what I realized when organizing these sweaters is that the oatmeal and beige ones are the ones that I wear the most, along with the gray. So I set those out at eye level, kind of how you would merchandise in a boutique, and then set out the more holiday themed and sparkly ones at the bottom, reds and pinks at the top, and blues and greens on the second to last shelf, because those are the tones that I have the least of. So here is a look at what it looks like overall. I don't know about you, but to me, looking at this is like actually better than entering a candy shop. I just love the different textures and being able to see everything when I go to get dressed in the morning. I'm really looking forward to fall season when it comes to actually putting together just very simple outfits featuring beautiful jewelry, soft natural fibers, and just very simple accessories otherwise. When it comes to what I keep and how I choose to organize and philosophize around, physical things, I don't really adhere to any particular philosophy. But one thing I have borrowed from minimalism is the idea that you can't really decide what it is you're going to keep or not unless you take absolutely everything out. So you'll have to forgive the chaos at the foot of the bed. I actually spent the night like this, and it really did help to bounce out of bed to sort of wake up to all of this and energized me to really get it done in the space of only one day. And I've gone through other clearouts before that I've shared, but what was different about this one is that I really forced myself to confront the fact that there are just some items that I really love but never wear, and I'm just not a luxury sneaker person or a very high pointed stiletto person either. So two of the items that have gone into my sell pile, which is all listed on Florence Closet on Instagram, are 2 pairs of Golden Goose sneakers that I purchased on Net-a-Porter and have never worn, and a pair of Jimmy Choos as well that I wore only once because they just ultimately are not the best fit for my style, and you want to have clothes that fit your style, not the other way around. So I also got rid of a lot of jeans, and this I think is something that is very common amongst everyone I know, is to own so many pairs of jeans, some of which fit, some of which don't, but most of which we don't wear irrespective of why. And so I donated, it must have been over 10 pairs of jeans. This shirt is one that I really loved when I purchased, but ultimately got a little bit tired of, so it's time to give it a new life in the sale pile, as well as this Michael Kors cashmere shirt, which is a rare sale item from my cashmere collection. And then most of the rest of this pile that you saw on the ground actually went to donations, because I just have so much loungewear that I've built up over the pandemic that I really don't need. So around the halfway mark, I got to 5 out of the 8 bags that I ended up donating to Goodwill, and I ran out of space on the bed, so I had to sort of put all of those things away and then continue pulling things out of the closet, all of the things that were hung up, which made for another massive mountain of clothes, a lot of dresses, cardigans, miscellaneous items, all mixed together with really no method as to where things went. And I had both seasons intertwined, so the finished result that you will see is for fall, winter, and early spring only, but what I put away are really mostly summer dresses and a few more kind of crisp pieces that I'll want to wear in the later spring and summer, and those essentially fit in one suitcase and the trunk that's at the front of my house that you may have seen, the chinoiserie style trunk in my home tour. So it's not too much, but it does allow me to have a little bit more clarity where only the things that are laid out are the things that I'll be wearing during a particular season, and that really has always been my trick to making do with just, not an enormous walk-in closet while still keeping all of my favorite things. I think it's quite interesting how so few women's shoe racks are actually well designed for women's shoes at all, because they're full of gaps that the heels fall through. So I purchased just a normal bookshelf and managed to wedge it into the closet, and I'm really happy with the boutique-like result that I got without spending too much, and also having a piece of furniture that I can always use for something else. Right around this point, around early afternoon, after bringing most of my donation items downstairs, clearing up all of the sweaters, and just being faced with so much clothes to hang, is when I began to fade. But with one last big push, I managed to get through finding a place for all of the things that I truly love and wanted to keep to be able to wear this season. So you can see here I'm finishing things up, bringing all the different bags that are going to go to Goodwill downstairs, and I'm left with one pile and Sammy's assistance to organize it, and here is the finished result. So this is the rack that I will get dressed from when I'm in a hurry. It features both old and new things, and it was so exciting to get to rediscover some things that I hadn't worn for a while. At the bottom there are 2 bins that I then Marie Kondoed, so I did properly fold all of the remaining t-shirts. I donated about 3 times this many t-shirts, but these are the ones that I kept. I make no promises about it continuing to stay this way, but the fact that there's only these few bins of clothing left instead of triple the amount that I started with, filled with loungewear that had gotten quite ratty, means that there's the promise of being able to keep it nice and keep enjoying things that I otherwise had forgotten about, like this cute Missoni dress that I hadn't worn for quite a while. So I'm putting on my best Vanna white impression here to show you the results. I love how I can see everything. I have my shirts and skirts on the left, blazers and silk shirts on the top. All the cardigans I own are hung up. Sweaters are folded in the linen closet that you saw at the beginning. All of my shoes, other than the ones that are by the door, are inside this closet, all visible and ready to wear. I love riding boots, so I did finally get some inserts so that they would all stand up and stop flopping over each other. I have all my plaid shirts together from my many years of Nordstrom shopping. And then behind the boots, I have some slightly more seldom worn shoes and mostly flats on the wire rack. And then all of my heels displayed on the wooden shelf with a nice kind of spacious feeling around them from just not using that particular area of the closet for hanging clothing. I kept only 4 shoe boxes. Of course, it does keep the value of your shoes to keep the designer shoe boxes, but I decided only to do it for very few shoes, so only 4 pairs that are above this rack, because I just find that then I wear them less. So that is the left side, and then on the right side I have 3 bins of t-shirts and loungewear, a couple of handbags displayed, and then on the bottom I have all of my dresses in this small area. It would be nice to have a few more inches there, but for now that will do, and it does allow me to see all of them well enough that I know what I have and can keep a few out on the wooden clothing rack I have in the bedroom to pick out my daily outfits, which you will be seeing more very soon on this channel.